What's your baseline assumption, Piyush, for the Fed and the pace of tightening? How many Fed rate hikes do you have in your mind for 2017? And what are the implications for net interest margins?
My own sense is that you'll probably see 3 rate hikes this year. The market is calling anything from 3 to 4 rate hikes. In our own planning, we've actually only budgeted 2 because for reasons of conservatism. I do think there's a 50% chance we'll see a rate hike in March. But I do think in many ways the Fed is slightly behind the curve. The data coming out of the US is strong. Inflation is strong. Both PCE and CPI numbers are strong. So it seems to me that there's every likelihood that you will see a Fed which is a little more hawkish than people actually believe.
And the big wild card, I suppose, for global economic forecasting is Donald Trump, President Donald Trump now. And the sense I'm getting is that you have good Trump and bad Trump when it comes to economic policy. Good Trump, the reflation story, pro-growth policy, bad Trump, protectionism. Which way do you think it's going to go, and what are the implications for the global economy and the Fed?
I personally think that Trump will have a less bad effect than people figure. For one, I think the underlying momentum in the global economy is actually quite robust, and that has nothing to do with President Trump. The US, I think, is strong. I think you'll see a print of between 2.5–3% this year. I think they'll finally break out of the 2% shackle. I think Europe is relatively strong. Germany came in at 1.8 last year. I think Japan's doing reasonably well, and I think the Chinese will keep the economy stable going into the standing committee elections in the 4th quarter. So I think overall global growth rates will be, call it almost 0.5% up over last year. And that is a tailwind which will exist irrespective of Trump policies. Now, on top of that, if Trump does a few reflationary measures, tax policy, fiscal, that might be helpful. The issue with Trump, I think, is the risks he poses. I guess, people react to the tweet, so that creates a lot of volatility in the markets. He could wind up being more protectionist than I think he will be. So there's volatility that could come down the pike, risk that could come down the pike. But my base case is I think the economy will do okay.